Hello and welcome. So this lab is going to be about mailbox settings, and we will be just seeing like what properties and options we have available in our mailboxes, like for our user mailboxes. So in order to make changes to a mailbox user, like if you are trying to edit a display name, or if you're trying to add like department information or any other things that relates to a user mailbox, and you are trying to do that, you can just go ahead and do it through the user mailbox settings. So why I am just going to show that to you, it is because most organizations, they have a policy where they want to make sure that whenever you create a user mailbox, they always have certain information. For example, a user mailbox should have a department. A user mailbox should also have, for example, company name. A user mailbox should also have like first name, last name, and many other things. So I'm gonna click on Parvez Joe, the IT manager, and then I'm gonna edit that, and this is the settings that we got. So I'm just going to go the important ones, and there are some settings that we are going to use in practical, and we are going to have a separate lab for that. So for now, so when you click on general for the user mailbox, this is all general information about a user. So for example, first name is Parvez, initial, last name, and then full name in here, and then display name, alias, which is the username, and then user logon name, and then you can simply click on require password and next logon, and then hide from address list, which means that when you uh, go to your Outlook and try to search for this user, if you just click here, what it's gonna do is now you will not be able to search this user in your address book, so it is going to be hidden. There are some users that you do not use to send and receive emails, so for those type of users you can simply hide them from your address list so that someone is not going to send an email to it. And then the organizational unit for this user account is at untitled.local/user, and then the mailbox database, which we will be covering in our next video. So mailbox database simply is a database where you have all your mailboxes stored. So each and everything, like your user mailbox, your groups and everything, they are stored in your database. So that's the simple explanation for the database for now. So the other thing that we have is mailbox usage. Mailbox usage is another good way of knowing that how much mailbox for this Parvez Unjo is used. For example, the limit is starting from 0 to 2 GB. For example, one day Parvez calls you and says, hey, the system engineer, you know what? I can no longer send and receive emails because it's telling me that the Outlook is giving me an error saying that your mailbox is full. So the first thing that you will do in order to troubleshoot, you will just come to the setting of this user, and then you will come to mailbox usage, and then you will see that this is going to be like full and it is going to show 100%. That's the time where you can simply customize the quota settings. You can simply add like say unlimited. You can say unlimited, but when you say unlimited, it means that Parvez Joe will be able to store like unlimited emails in his Outlook, and it is going to be stored in your Exchange server, which is not a good practice. So always have a company policy, follow the company policy. Always make sure that you have a limit, and that that limit is for all users. And then this is telling us that whenever it reaches like 2, like do not allow to send, and then whenever it reaches 2.3 GB, do not allow to send and receive. That's why when the user mailbox is full and it's like 2.3, the user will not be able to send and receive emails, and they will just call you. So that's how you can do the troubleshooting, and that's how you can uh, just add more size or size to your user mailbox. So that's a good way of troubleshooting when someone calls you and says, "Hey, my Outlook is telling me that you do not have enough space." So the other thing that we have is contact information. So contact information is one of the important thing for most of the organizations. What they want to do is they want to add all these information. So they want to know where Pervez is working. For example, if you have 100 sites, you want to keep track of all your users, like where they are working. For example, in which office, which city, which state. So you can simply add the street, city, and all the informations that you see in here. This is going to be a good way or easy way to contact this user just in case if you need to contact. So this is always a good thing to have complete information for all your users' mailboxes. The other one is organization. Again, this is important thing, so you need to add a title in here. Title is IT manager, for example. So whenever the system admins will see, they will know that, okay, this guy is the IT manager and department is IT and the company is Elmjo Tech. So when you go to the properties of this user, even if you don't know this user, you will know that, oh, this guy is IT manager and he works for IT and he's working on Elmjo Tech company. And then you can simply click in here and say browse, and then you can pick up the manager for Pervez Elmjo. So the manager for the Pervez Elmjo is going to be showing up in here as a user mailbox too. So you can just simply say, okay, Jeff Green is the manager. Direct reports, you can add all those information in here. So email addresses that you see in here, so we only got like SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol, and you can see that plmjo at elmjotech.local. This is the email address for this user account. So it is just showing you that this is the SMTP address for the for Pervez Elmjo. So some companies, what they do is they add multiple email addresses in here. For example, plmjo, Pervez Elmjo, Pervez underscore Elmjo at Elmjo Tech, and the concept behind that is they want to make sure that whenever an email comes from outside and it matches plmjo, Pervez underscore Elmjo, or Pervez.elmjo, it is still going to send it to Pervez Elmjo. So that's the concept when they add multiple mailboxes. So again, the another thing that we have is mailbox features. This is something that we will be covering in detail, because it is all about sharing policy, retention policy. And then when you go to member of, right now we do not have any group. So when we create a distribution group and assign Pervez as member of that group, you will be able to see those distribution groups in here, but so that when you see the settings for Pervez Elmjo, you will know that, oh, Pervez Elmjo is member of IT department, Pervez Elmjo is member of finance department. That way you will know that this user belongs to these groups. So the other thing that you can do is the mailbox delegation, which is send as permission and send on behalf and full permission. So this is another thing that we will cover as a lab when you are trying to give access or permission to a mailbox for someone so that they can send on behalf of them. So this is a separate lab and we will be covering this. So this is a simple like user mailbox settings that you can do whenever you want. So the good one was the troubleshooting of size that I just showed you. So you can just go ahead and do the troubleshootings like that. And I hope you have learned something. I'll see you on next video, which is going to be about the groups creation. So I'll see you next video, and